Good morning. Welcome back, everybody, to No, It's You, Not Me, and I'm gonna prove it. So, today we're talking about something that really surprised me. I saw it earlier today, and I think it happened a while back. I'm probably way out of the loop on this, but it still surprised me nonetheless. And I bet there's a lot of people out there that don't know nothing about this either. So, there used to be this amazing show on the History Channel called Pawn Stars, and they dealt in all kinds of crazy stuff like doubloons, art, cars, boats. I mean, if you could pawn it, they bought it. And they were real famous. They had a huge business down in Las Vegas, gold and silver pawn shop. So, what exactly was Pawn Stars? Let's jump right in. So, Pawn Stars was this reality TV show about a little pawn shop in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was run by a family and a close friend. Rick Harrison was the main owner, and his father started the business, Richard Harrison, the old man. He started out as a gold and coin shop, but they ended up changing it up down the road because they found out that pawning valuable items was more lucrative. So you've got the old man, the father who started it. You got Rick Harrison, who's his son, the main person of the show. You got Corey Harrison, which is Rick's son, and you've got Austin Chumley Russell, who's a close friend of Corey's, and he's in most episodes. He's kind of the laugh track, the goofy guy of the TV show. So the show started in 2009 and ran to 2023. It had 500 episodes, which is pretty great. A lot of them were really good. I love this show. They found all kinds of cool stuff. They even had their own games for a while. Rick turned around and opened up a barbecue restaurant like right across the street from there. He turned out to be a hell of a businessman, and everybody had a lot of respect for him. But here's the kicker: now he's doing life. So life in prison. That comes as a huge surprise to someone who seemed like he was such a nice person, such a great businessman. He had the whole world in his hands, basically, and I don't understand why all these stars and rich people they always end up doing this. They always get so big that they destroy themselves. I don't get it how you're going to destroy yourself when you have everything, literally everything. So life inside the pawn shop was always pretty cool. It seemed like there was always excitement. There was new stuff coming in. They were always taking trips to go out to different places. It became a huge tourist attraction, so it pulled in a lot of business for that. So there was always a ton of people there. They were always making a ton of money. But as it turns out, old Rick had been making some deals on the side, and he hadn't been exactly truthful with them to the government. So as we look into this further, it turns out that Rick had been knowingly receiving looted artifacts, a lot of them, and basically, no, that doesn't mean necessarily that they ran out to a site and they looted a bunch of stuff and they brought it back, but it very well could be grave robbing. Some of it was artifacts stolen from a university's archives and then brought in there and sold to him. And apparently, he knew a lot of this stuff was stolen. He kept them on separate books so that he could show the government one set of books and he could have his real records in another set of books. Um, he was taking these big artifacts and he was on paper, he was selling them at a sale at a discount. But on his special books, he was showing that he was actually going behind the government's back and selling these at full price to private sellers. And it turns out, as it usually does, that it was one of his own coworkers that ended up bringing him down. So old Rick, who was born in 1965, he had a lot of problems when he was growing up. He developed epilepsy young, and that caused him to miss a lot of school, which in turn forced him to spend a lot of time reading books and educating himself. Um, that's how he gained all this insane knowledge that he has on the show for all these artifacts that come in. However, due to his epilepsy and missing so much school, he ended up dropping out and getting his 17-year-old girlfriend pregnant with their first son. And then down the road, they had a second one together. Um, However, on this show, he seems like a really nice guy on camera, but that's what most actors do. There was an incident with a veteran, a disabled veteran that came in and brought in a weapon to be pawned and checked out and stuff. And allegedly, he was drug out of the store in a headlock by the sons, um, and thrown onto the sidewalk outside when he was trying to ask to speak to the manager or the owner. I don't know really what all happened with that. I didn't actually see that episode. Uh, my research here is kind of the first I've heard of it, but that sounds right on par with them. Um, and then there was Chumley. Chumley, Chumley's kind of like that friend that has always been your friend, but you could never figure out why he was your friend. Um, old boy was in all kinds of trouble over the years, from sexual assault to drugs to having weapons on probation, like all kinds of crazy stuff. So sadly, it hasn't been all smooth sailing for Chumley either. A resident jokester of Pawn Stars, he had lost his father weeks before the series actually debuted on the History Channel. Um, and he ended up getting in some trouble with the cops. He was raided at his home, and they uncovered a hoard of drugs and a gun. He pled guilty, narrowly avoided jail time. Instead, he got 3 years of probation and counseling. Now, this show was one of the history's most profitable shows, like one of the best shows they ever put out, until all the dark side started coming out on everybody. They had to start pulling it back, especially when it came out that Rick was going to be arrested, or when he was arrested. They pulled back, stopped the show, and said they were going to see what was going on, wait and see what happens, and go from there. But in 2023 is when things really went bad. The FBI raided Rick's house, part of an ongoing investigation that had been going on for several months. Initially, the public was kept in the dark, but which made people, speculate what's going on online. And I guess Corey, he was at the shop when the feds decided to come in and raid the place. They came in, they started taking paperwork, and they started taking items, and they started taking the computers and stuff like that. And they knew exactly where to look because of their little informant that used to work there. He let them know where everything was kept. Whenever they raided Rick's house, now I guess he kept his calm and cool, even though he was being escorted out of the house in handcuffs in front of all of his neighbors while they're standing there taking pictures and videos on their phones, which must have really sucked. So the charges that he's up against are tax evasion, money laundering, and dealing in stolen goods, and dealing in oh shoot, stolen artifacts. So of course, Rick's lawyers they entered in pleas of not guilty and no wrongdoing, which is what they're supposed to do. However, they described the investigation as a misunderstanding, and it would soon be cleared up. Now, Rick's attorney was David Marshall. He's a high-profile Las Vegas lawyer known for representing celebrities. He assured everybody that Rick had operated with integrity and within the law. However, more details came out as the investigation went on. They found evidence where Rick had been involved in a complex operation to sell certain historical artifacts undervalued, so that they could save on taxes. So when Rick finally did go to court, his son went with him. Chumley went with him to show support. However, when the verdict finally came down that he was going to get life in prison, everybody could see all the emotion all at once. His son put his hands in his head, uh, probably to hide himself from crying, which is completely understandable. Chumley got up and ran out of the courtroom, obviously extremely emotional. Uh, and it was just a really eye-opening moment for the world to see this guy, this really intelligent businessman who had entertained all of us for so many years, and taught us so many things, and really brought the light to pawn shops and how interesting they are and the types of things you can find. This guy was now being led away in handcuffs off to prison for the rest of his life. A lot of people went nuts and said that this was not justified. This was way too extreme of a punishment since it was a non-violent offense. However, the judge ruled that because he was so knowledgeable in these artifacts, that he was almost like a curator. He had a responsibility to the public, and by taking in these stolen properties and these looted artifacts and stuff, he had completely gone against everything that made him famous, everything he stated that he was. And because it was such a big offense, it was so much. It was She said that he deserved life in prison for defrauding so many people. Um, that's a lot. Life. Um, I mean, we don't know the exact amounts or anything, but life is a long time for laundering money and receiving stolen goods. But on the same hand, he knowingly did it. He knew how much trouble he'd get in for it, and he still did it. So it's kind of hard to feel bad for the guy. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you think it was too rough? Do you think it was too harsh of a punishment? Or do you think he got what he deserved since he stole half of his fortune, basically? I loved the show. I thought it was fantastic. I've seen almost every episode. I watch them over and over again still. And it just goes to show you that sometimes the most intelligent people, but the nicest people in public, have a really dark side. Especially when it comes to celebrities. It's almost like they have to sign their soul away almost, huh? So please, if you enjoyed this, if you got anything that you want to add to it, please drop a comment down below. I'll try to respond to you. Keep an eye out for any new videos we put out. We've got a lot of old ones. They're slowly getting better. The real old ones really suck. I'm going to be honest with y'all, but we're giving it a try. We're getting better every day. All right. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.